Marcelo, and today we will explore how human activities are shaping ecosystem in the Philippines, from deforestation to pollution, overfishing. These actions are not only transforming landscapes and waters, but also threatening biodiversity, food security, and human well-being. So, human activities reshaping Philippine ecosystem by dominating force reshaping ecosystem worldwide with impacts especially visible in the Philippines through deforestation, pollution, and overfishing. These actions lead severe biodiversity loss, soil erosion, and disrupted food chains. For instance, deforestation in areas like the Sierra Madre and Mindanao displaces species and reduces carbon storage. Plastic pollution in Manila Bay enters food chains affecting marine life, human health, and also overfishing in Albay, Ragay, and acid gulfs has caused declining fish stocks and damaged coral reefs. Together, these activities weaken ecosystem and endangered communities. So let's proceed to next slides. Deforestation, a vanishing landscape. The Philippines once had nearly 18 million hectares of forest. Today, only about 7 million remaining. That's just 20% of our land area. This massive loss is driven by agriculture, logging, urban expansion, and mining. Deforestation is the large-scale removal of forests primarily driven by human activities such as agriculture, logging, and urban expansion in the Philippines. Forest covers has drastically reduced from 17.8 million hectares in 1934 to approximately 7 million hectares today. This significant reduction now only 23.38% of the country land's area leads to severe biodiversity loss, increased soil erosion, disrupted water cycles, and exacerbates climate change. The clearing or thinning of forest makes way for farming, infrastructure, and resource extraction, fundamentally altering the nature.
So good day everyone, I'm Vincent Bactong. So let's dive into our discussion about human impact in the Philippines, specifically deforestation and ecological consequences. So let's break down the drivers. So agriculture expansion accounts for 80% of forest loss, often through slash and burn farming, like cash cash crop like sugarcane and palm oil. So next is urbanization and infrastructure. So project carve into forest areas like roads, housing, like sa mga subdivision. So next is illegal logging. So makes up nearly a third of logging activities. Example is in the Oriental, specifically in Mount Hamiguitan Range. So there has been ramping cutting of wild trees, particularly agarwood, despite strict government regulation. So this has led to significant environmental concern. As the area is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, locals, including farmers and fishers, have shifted to poaching agarwood due to its high prices, earning up to 26,000 in a week. So it's estimated that around 10,000 trees have been already cut in Mount Tamigitan alone. So next is mining activities. So mining clears large tract of land. The population pressure magnifies all these forces, making sustainable management in critical changes. For example, is Marcolonga mining in the Oriental. So small-scale mining activities, particularly in a gold and other minerals, have raised concern about environmental degradation. The development the Marcaleonga Mining and Development Corporation, operating Katiel, the Oriental, has been linked to deforestation and water pollution. The area has seen significant cover loss, affecting biodiversity and local communities. So, that's the major drivers of deforestation. So next is So next, we proceed to the next slide, ecological consequences and risks. So deforestation leads to five major ecological consequences. First is loss of biodiversity. So threatening countless species with extinction estimate suggest 50 to 100 species disappear daily worldwide like the critically endangered Philippine eagle. So second is soil erosion and declining productivity. So where stripped forest cover causes nutrients loss and reduce agricultural yields, as seen in degraded farmlands in the Oriental. So next is disruption of water cycle. So resulting in drier climate, less groundwater and higher water contamination risk, impacting communities relying on local rivers. So fourth is climate change because destroyed forests release large amount of carbon dioxide, intensifying global warming and worsening typhoons like Haiyan, Odette, and Yolanda. So last is increased natural disaster, raising the incidence of floods, droughts, and landslide. And it happened in St. Bernard late in 2006. So next is risk and challenges. So the ecological consequence of deforestation create three primary risks of so first is law enforcement, weak law enforcement, which undermines conservation efforts, enable illegal activities like agarwood, poaching in Mount Hamigitan. So next is economic pressure from mining and agriculture that conflict with sustainable goals, pushing exploitation over protection as seen in Marcalonga mining operation in Katiel. So last is community dependence on forest resources, making effective management difficult without providing alternative livelihood for local population. Addressing this risk requires strict enforcement, economic incentives for sustainable practices, and community-based alternatives to reduce pressure on forests. So, moving forward, programs like National Greening Program and the National REDD Plus strategy show promises, but success hinges on community involvement, stricter law enforcement, and sustainable use practices. That's all. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. I am Rian Angela Altagutan, and I will be discussing about pollution, which is very concerning problem here in the Philippines. So pollution doesn't stop where it starts. It infiltrates food chains, industrial waste, vehicle emissions, plastics, and pesticides accumulate in ecosystems. Toxins move from plankton to fish to humans, magnifying their impact through bioaccumulation and biomagnification. So these are the types of pollution: water pollution, plastic pollution, air pollution, chemical and soil pollution. So water pollution. So industrial wastewater, agricultural runoff, and household garbage cause eutrophication and contaminate waters. So these are usually nakahibalo ko ani sa dito sa mua sa Kabagayan, which is mao to siyang last last month sa Kabagayan, and na um very concerning siya dito, which is kay ang mga tao dito is naapektuhan. So pollutants move from plankton to fish to humans in increasing toxins concentration. In plastic pollution, this pollution is very usual diri jud nahitabo sa Philippines, usually sa Manila, which is sa Manila Bay, di ba, kay nabalik na pud siya og nakuanan og mga plastics na kuno mga basura, which is the improper disposal leads to microplastic ingested by plankton and fish. So maapektuhan atong marine and plunging coral reefs and mangroves. So microplastics are found in human bloodstreams, highlighting their deep penetration into food webs. This air pollution, dili jud sa Martinez, kabalo jud mo ana na ang air pollution is very very usual po siya mahitabo diri sa Philippines, specifically here sa Mati, dili lang sa Mati ha, but ano lang ako if kung asa ko karon. Sa vehicle exhaust, factory emissions and waste burning produce acid rain. So ang air pollution dili lang sa mga sakyanan, which is sa ato po labi na nagakahoy na ta sa balayan. Usually atong ginapanghaling is kanang plastics. So isa na siya sa air pollution, maka effect po na siya sa bad effect siya sa ato ang environment. So the chemical and soil pollution, excessive pesticide use and industrial dumping disrupt microorganism and reduce crop yield. So kabalo naman mo ano sa magamit taog ka ng mga excessive pesticides nga bawal dapat. And next is, on the next slide, I will be discussing pollution's far-reaching consequences, risk, and consequences. So the effects are wide-ranging. Coral reefs collapse, mangroves weaken, and human health suffers from cancers and respiratory illness. Economically, fisheries and tourism lose billions. So, ecological collapse. The coral reefs, mangroves, and forests lost their ability to support biodiversity. In human health, not only in human health, but also in animals. Pollutants in food chains cause respiratory illness, cancers, and neurological damage and unsafe seafood consumption. Makaapekto po siya sa ato ang mga fish sa dagat. And economic loss. Fisheries, tourism, and agriculture suffer billions in damages annually. Because if magagamit man gud tong mga pollutants sa dagat, di ba? Makaapekto jud sa atong fisheries, not only labi na sa ato ang mga mangingisda, so wala na sila makuha, di ba? Kaya ang mga isda nilang makuhaan is mamatay na. The fisheries, tourism, and agriculture suffer gina sila. And the key takeaway, pollution travels invisibly through food chains, and tackling it requires stricter regulations, cleanups, and sustainable practices.
Before we proceed, good day everyone. I am Jasmine Labajo and I will be discussing the overfishing on unraveling marine ecosystems. So what is overfishing? So overfishing, it is the removal or it removes too many adults from fish populations, leaving them unable to recover. So there was an effect for overfishing. There was 5 effects. The first one is food chain disruption. So food chain disruption is the removing keystone species destabilize marine food webs, leading to trophic cascades where imbalances ripple through the ecosystem. And the second one is loss of biodiversity. So targeted fish population declined, and bycatch reduces non-target species like turtles and dolphins. So coral reefs lose herbivorous fish, leading to degradation. Like sa Amua, kasagaran mga tao dito they like to kanang magkuha og kanang mga pawikan kay lami daw lagi, but then they are destroying the biodiversity. And the third one is the habitat damage. So the habitat damage is the bottom trawling and destructive fishing physically destroy vital habitats like coral reefs and seagrass beds, which are crucial nurseries for marine life. So for habitat damage, like for example, kanang dynamite fishing, kanang magamit ka og dinamita para manguhag isda. Like without knowing na dili lang ang gagmay na mga isda ang maapektuhan, but also the coral reefs and the seagrasses. And the fourth one is the climate and ecological impacts. So climate and ecological impacts, degraded coral reefs and disrupted disrupted ecosystem and weaken carbon cycling, reducing the ocean's ability to buffer climate change. So dili lang ang coral reefs ang ma-degrade, but also it can disrupt the ecosystem and weaken the carbon cycling, and also it can reduce the ocean's ability to buffer climate change. And the last one is the human and economic collapse. The communities relying on the fisheries face poverty and food insecurities as seen in the Atlantic cod fisheries collapse of year 1993. So the next one is the interconnected crisis. It is the combined effects for overfishing on the others. And number one is the habitat loss. Habitat loss is the forest clearing reduces biodiversity, displaces species, and weakens ecosystem, leading to soil erosion and reduced carbon storage. And for the second one is the ecosystem fragility. This is the interacting pressures that makes ecosystem fragile, leading to the species loss, accelerated climate change, and human suffering from insecurities and health risks. And for the population, the third one is the air, water, and plastic pollution spread through the food chains, harming wildlife and human health, damaging fisheries and water quality. So, kita ang most na maapektuhan ang ato ang health. And the last one is the climate change. So, the climate change temperature and rising the temperature, stronger typhoons and shifting rainfall patterns, intensity, damage from the habitat loss and population, and bleaching coral reefs and reducing the agricultural yield. So, this interconnected crisis is the pressure that don't act alone because the deforestation, population, and overfishing interact with the climate change, making the ecosystems fragile. And forest loss accelerates warming, and polluted seas struggle under rising temperatures, and the communities face food insecurities and health risks. And it's a web of interconnected crisis. And that's all.
So, good day, everyone. I'm Vasily Zoe Lahara, and for today, I would like to walk through the 6 strategic steps we can take to address the environmental challenges facing our planet. So, from my previous or from my co-members, the previous topics was about the frustrations and everything like that. But for my part, I will be talking about the path charting path forward. In this topic, it emphasizes both systematic change and community engagement. So, step 1. Acknowledge human impact. First, we must recognize that human activities are now a dominant force, reshaping ecosystem. From deforestation to pollution, our footprint is everywhere. Acknowledging this impact is the foundation for meaningful actions. Now let's proceed to step 2. Step 2 is the addressing deforestation. Next, we tackle deforestation. This means implementing sustainable forestry practices, cracking down on illegal logging, and promoting reforestation. Forests are not just carbon sinks, they're homes to countless species and vital to water cycles. Step 3, na tayo agad, combat pollution. Pollution is a multi-front battle. We need stricter regulations on industrial waste, better plastic disposal systems, and smarter agricultural practices to reduce runoff, and cleaner air ecosystems mean healthier communities, and more resilient biodiversity. And the step four is managing overfishing. So the overfishing threatens marine life, coastal livelihoods, and sustainable fishing practices. Enforcement against illegal and unregulated fishing and protection of marine habitats are essential to restoring balance in our oceans. And number five is foster community involvement. Involvement. Sorry. Environmental solutions must include uh, include people, by engaging local communities and conversations, uh, and offering alternative livelihoods. We build ownership and long-term stewardship with when communities thrive ecosystem to do too. So if ever much better talaga if uh, hindi lang isang tao yung gumagawa. It's the community. So, dapat marami tayo yung gumagawa for a better life and better ecosystem. So, yun siya. And now, lastly, is the step 6 is the integrate solution. So, this step is the final that we must integrate our efforts. Habitat loss, pollution, and climate change are interconnected. Holistic strategies, those that address multiple pressures at once, and are the key to a lasting impact. So, to end this topic to end this presentation, these 6 steps offer a roadmap for actions, whether you're uh, whether you're a policymaker, educator, student, or community leader, each of us has a role to play. So I think for us or you guys watching this, let's chart a path forward together. I think that's it. Ends our presentation for our group, and I hope you learned something from us. And I think that's all. Thank you. Bye.